Well, first, good evening to you, one and all, and the long-awaited touring car series, a touring car challenge under IR South Africa. Man, well, this series started a while back. It was cut short for a new revised series to start, and tonight is the night that we get to do the one we've all been waiting for, and what a star-studded name list there is on this one. Joining me, Mike's side, as always, the voice of West Bromwich Motorsport, Frankie Ennis. Frankie, good evening to you.
Gary, good evening. Sure, I'll tell you what, this is going to be awesome stuff. The IRSA Touring Car Challenge, and it comes to you from Watkins, Glen in New York, with a track just under 3.7 kilometers long. Track temperature is 40 degrees. I tell you, outside it is 26. Track temperature is 40. And there's a 48% chance of rain, but I doubt that very much. Partly cloudy and only a 10-kilometer-an-hour wind.
Well, let's have a look at some of the people that's going to be out there. That is Dr. Mike Berrier, and well, he is synonymous with iRacing in South Africa. There's Robbie Teens out on circuit as well. The likes of Marty Samangi, nice to have him out there. Nathan Victor, the man that had such a great race session until it all went wrong for him on Saturday at the Glen International Raceway. The likes of Ati Nagel, remember all of these guys are out on circuit doing their warm-up lap. Once they finish their second lap after the warm-up lap, that's when you'll see the times coming up. Willem Botha, the man himself, he's got the best water, what is it, best water?
Best water technology.
Technology, that's a word we were waiting for there. Jason Kutsia, the Ironman from Glen International Raceway. Andre Steenkamp, partner of note, and he's in his favorite Rockstar colors. Nice to see Stephen Duplessis out there. We've seen him on an irregular basis on some of the 6-hour races. Neil Harrison, that's a new one for us. We'll pick up on Neil Harrison. Sandro Bakari, nice to have him out there. His brother has moved overseas, and in the next week or two, we will have his brother up and racing as well. Louis Nokia, a somewhat unknown factor to us at this stage, but somebody that we know very well, Julian Familiares. What a boykie. This man flies around the main circuits in South Africa in the Mobile One series. Peter van der Speyk, Captain Pete, he's out there, as well as Byron Mitchell's the first man to put up time, and you'll find that that car is going to be pretty much close to the front end of the field as well. So our first man out there, Frankie, Byron Mitchell, and he heads it up, and as we said, Umpi Swart will be up top there as well. There's Umpi.
Well, those are the two Durant Motorsport, the Audis of Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart. Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart had a very good outing last weekend at Glen International. Byron Mitchell winning Class S in the Formula Libre single-seater, and Umpi Swart part of that North-South Volkswagen Challenge that did so very, very well. So Stephen Duplessis in the Audi, he's done a PB there of a 1:18.420. As Gary was saying, we see him lots in the 6-hour Enduro, Stephen Duplessis. So at this point in time, it's Audi first, second, and third. Then it's the Hyundai in fourth position of Robbie Teens in the Denza outfit. That is the racing outfit of Toyota. And then Jason Kutsia, this will be another Durant Motorsport outfit, and they are all out there in Audis. The Durant Motorsport team, captained by Garth de Villiers, they will be out there in full force. There's 4 of them that's going to be out there: Mitchell, Swart, Familiaris, and that man you see on screen there, Jason Kutsia.
Nathan Victor pops up into the reckoning as well. He finds himself provisionally on the 3rd row of the grid. Robbie King's been knocked further and further down. We see Julian from Familiaris has come in there as well. Ati Nagel, another frequent flyer. I'm sure Ati Nagel will get himself a little bit higher up in the not too distant future. Nati and Samangi bumps them all down up onto the 2nd row of the grid.
Well, 2 weeks ago at the Red Star Raceway, Nati and Samangi had an absolute flyer, especially out there in that the second heat of the Comcare Polo National Championship. And at this point in time, with the 5 minutes of the 8 minutes qualifying session done, Nati finds himself there in that 5th position.
Well, it's changing all the time. Willem Botha pops up with the fastest Hyundai, and he puts it in 1 minute 17.795. So that's 0.25 of a second slower than the frequent flyer Byron Mitchell, who finds himself at this point provisionally alongside him with Umpi Swart, second over Willem Botha and Junior Familiaris with Nadia Samangi and Stephen Duplessis. Can anybody bump that grouping down?
Well, Familiaris goes pole with a 1:17.503. So at this point in time, it is Durant Motorsport guys that are absolutely dominating. They are in first, second, and third at this point in time, with Jason Coetzee in that sixth position as we watch Willem Botha, and he's 0.2 of a second behind Familiaris at this point in time. Louis Norquier is the man that's there in that fifth position, and he did a PB of a 1:18.131, and he's moved up into fifth, with Samanga now dropping down into that sixth position.
Running at the top 10, but looks like he's on his second flying lap. That is Stephen Duplessis. Keep in mind that you go out, you do one lap, a sighting lap, warm up the tires, and these cars are very susceptible. Touring cars, climbing all over the curbs, and that's going to cost him. I cannot see that Stephen's going to go quicker on this lap than what he's already got. He's in the 10th position at the moment. Computer allows you to do the 2 laps, and then it kicks everybody off. So once you've done your 2 laps, that's it. Most everybody has completed their times already. I see Andre Steenkamp is still out there with the Rockstar car. Let's see, where is he? He's coming out into the front main. Yep, that's the last corner coming out the front main. Let's see if Andre Steenkamp can bump that Hyundai a little bit further up the pack. Is 1.1 seconds off the fastest lap time. And nope, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make that one go any further up on the leaderboard at all. Nathan Victor has just finished off a lap now as well. There he goes. In fact, he's going to finish off a lap now. Nope, he's going to slow it down. So he's completed his laps as well. Nati and Samangi, he's already done his times. Just about everybody is now off the board in 7.5 minutes in total. Well, there we go. Practice your starts. That's something a little bit different. Let's see if we can pick that up from in-car. There we go. Gets it onto the rev limiter. So the rev limiter set pretty low, and then flicking it through the gears, doing a couple of those. So 2,900 looks like where the rev limiter is set on that auto launch. Up through the gears there again, and just practicing how quickly you can get through the gears. Something slightly different there, I must say. So, Frankie, for those that have just joined us, that's where we're going to be tonight. And it's going to be 2 races that they're going to be having.
Yeah, 2 15-minute races. Race 2 will be pole invert of race number 1. So, Durant Motorsport, first, second, and third. Julian Familiaris, Byron Mitchell, and Yuri Swart, with Willem Botha rounding off that second row.
Yep, and then it's going to be Louis Norquier from Nati and Samangi, Jason Coetzee and Ati Nagel, and rounding out the top 10, Robbie Teens and Stephen Duplessis.
Yeah, then row 6 is Nathan Victor, Sandro Bakari, row 7, Andre Steenkamp and Mike Verrier, and row 8, Peter van der Spey, and a new name to me, Etienne Zwart.
Stephen McCarthy and Willem Pina with Andrew Thomas and Jaco Steyn. And then Herman Lazarus with Neil Harrison going to be there on his left-hand side. Look at that. What a beautiful grid we've got. Let's give you a nice full-screen picture of that. And, well, if you get a chance to go upstairs, that's what it looks like. What a beautiful circuit. It'll be first, second, third, maybe touch on fourth gear into that right-hander, but there's a lot of run-off room on the outside of that turn number 1. And I think you're going to find a lot of guys are going to bail out into that section further onto the outside of the circuit. We're still waiting for Ati Nagel to click in. Andrew Thomas, Jaco Steyn, and Herman Lazarus. I see they haven't posted in there either yet, and they are not on the screen yet. So let's hope they're not having connectivity problems that they can't get in there. Frankie, what a front row of the grid. Look at that.
Well, there are 4 Durant Motorsport cars out there, first, second, and third, and then Jason Coetzee in P7, and they're all out there in Audi products, so this is going to be interesting stuff. What I've noticed is they're only using Audis and Hyundais in tonight's race here at Watkins Glen in New York in the USA. So we are about to go green shortly. Is everybody logged in? Looks like everybody, no, I think Thomas and Steyn and Lazarus are still trying to get in. No, they are out, as a matter of fact. They're not going to take part in this one. As the lights go off and away we go, and it's Durant Motorsport first, second and third. It's Julian Familiaris from Umpiswart. Then it's Byron Mitchell, Sander Bakari coming through there as well. Willem Botha running slightly wide as they work their way through. Natin Samanga sits up there on the inside of Willem Botha. Right behind them is Jason Kutsia. Louis Nortje is busy dropping down. He's dropped there behind Nathan Victor. There's Robbie Teens. He's got Louis Nortje just ahead of him and Stephen Duplessis just behind him. But it's all about Familiaris at this point in time as they make their way now into the inner loop. Through the inner loop they go. Then they work their way into that hairpin right-hander. That is the outer loop. Remember, they're not doing the chute and the boot section at all. They'll just keep on going around and around and around. And then there, that track to the left, that would take you down the chute and to the boot. But they're doing the short circuit, running down that long straight into the second last corner at Watkins Glen. And then from there into the final corner. And then they will start another lap. Then they will start lap number 2.
Well, that's what they're going to do right now. Junior from the RS. And, well, tell you what, they racked back and stayed behind him. But look at the gap that Junior from the RS has worked away from the rest of the pack. Somehow there must have been a little bit of a bottleneck somewhere along the line, and back to Umpiswart in that second position. Then it's Byron Mitchell, and then behind that whole gaggle of cars, Jason Kutsia finds himself with 3 cars right on his back bumper as they work their way through turn 2, up that short incline, through that left-hander and through the right-hander, and now they've got that long straight and onto a heavy braking marker as they go into the kink.
Yeah, into the kink, also known as the inner loop. Umpiswart sitting there in second. Mitchell sitting out there in third. Jason Kutsia is in 5th position. He needs to clear Willem Botha to be able to make it Durant Motorsport first, second and third. I'd like to see the intervals between these guys because I think it's going to be pretty close at this point in time, and that the battle box will show you as well. Oh, into the wall goes someone and the wheel goes flying. There's a major accident, Gary, towards the tail end of the field.
I think that could have been Nathan Victor. Let's just check. Oh, yeah, that was...
It's in Samanga.
Oh, there's nowhere to go. Oh!
And Nathan Victor, you're right.
Wow, that was heavy. He just had nowhere to go at that stage of the fight. So it's always nice to get a in-car camera shot. But let's just have a look at it. How did that one look from the outside? And from Nati and Samangi's point of view, if we can pick that one up against the wall, stuck the nose in, turned it around, and that's when he came across the circuit, and there was the DSR car standing sideways in the middle of the track. Everybody else trying to duck and dive that one. From Stephen Duplessis' point of view, this is what it looked like. And he was the second car to come in there and come and tag. Peter van der Spey, unfortunately, was involved in that one as well. Let's see what it was like for Peter van der Spey. He came along in all honesty. And, he managed to miss them and then goes and tags the wall from there. So that took him completely out of it. And Peter van der Spey then eventually trying to get that car away there. Takes him a long time to turn it all around and get it back going again. Let's go back to the front end of the field.
Well, chaos and drama out there, but the Durant Motorsport boys are sitting first, second and third. That's Familiaris from Swart, from Mitchell. And there is 0.5 of a second between Swart and Familiaris, and just under a second between Mitchell and Swart. And then there's a lovely fight there. Atinagel is all over the back of Willem Botha. And then you've got an awesome fight going on there, Gary, for that 7th position, because Steenkamp and Bakari is right on the case of 7th place man, Louis Nortje.
Yeah, Louis Nortje's got them right on his back bumper. They some are lining up alongside one another. Through the right hander they go, up that short hill. Through the left hander, it's flat foot all the way through there. You keep the hammer down, you keep it down, you move it up into top gear. Let's have a look at what that looks like from inside the car.
Right, that's inside from Louis Nortje's car. Louis Nortje in the Hyundai. And then you've got an in-car cam there from the Audi of Sander Bakari that's using the Watkins Glen, and a lot more. Bakari trying to chase down Louis Nortje. 0.7 of a second between Bakari and Nortje, the man ahead of him. as they make their way through the outer loop. Now heading down that long straight. This is in-car cam of the Andre Steenkamp Hyundai, and as you can see, he's sitting right on the case there of 8th place man Sandro Bakari.
Sandro was wanting to have a look at the tail end of Nokia, but he's got to be very, very careful. We know we've seen, in fact, this last week, Wednesday, we've seen Andre Steenkamp have a brilliant drive. Talking about brilliant drives, let's go back to the front end of the field. That man has just put up the fastest lap time, Byron Mitchell.
Yeah, Byron Mitchell is the quickest man out there, and he's 6/10 of a second behind Umpi Swart, who's 5/10 of a second behind Julian Familiaris. But Gary, I wonder if Jason could see something went wrong with Jason, because he finds himself all the way down in that 18th position, 3.7 seconds behind Nathan Victor. I wonder if Jason wasn't involved in that tag earlier on a couple of laps ago as well.
Well, what I can tell you is that Jason was into the pits at some point.
That car's battling there.
And yeah, that was when he tried to have the car fixed. So at some point he picked up some damage. I'll try and trace that one for you as we go back to the lead car. And well, I tell you what, he's doing a lovely job. He's going to be picking up some traffic in the not too distant future, with Umpi Swart right in there behind Julian Familiaris.
Yeah, he's sitting right on the case there of Familiaris. As a matter of fact, Byron Mitchell is in there as well. It's the Runt Motorsport first, second and third. It's Audi first, second and third at this point in time. This is a replay of Jason Coetzee. And Jason Coetzee and Willem Botha tangle. And that's the reason why, with him going to the pits, you saw Coetzee at that point in time all the way down in 18th position.
And he also had to take a bit of time to get it turned around to get going again, with the other cars coming along. He had to reverse it back so he didn't block the circuit, and only then did he manage to get it going again. So on board with Umpi Swart, he is right in there behind Julian Familiaris. But Byron Mitchell, that's the view that Byron Mitchell has got, and that's on the tail end of Umpi Swart. It's getting closer and closer all the time. Umpi Swart is going to have to go through the traffic very neatly.
Yeah, he is right on his case there. They're picking up the back marker there. I think that would be Peter van der Spey. The battle box would tell us. But yeah, it's a 5 car. It's Van der Spey that they're putting a lap on there. Oh, and I feel so sorry for Peter van der Spey. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time with that big incident that happened. And that has put Van der Spey all the way down in P16 and 1 lap adrift, as the Durant Motorsport boys are busy working their way through, with Andrew Thomas will be the next man that they're going to put a lap on.
Oh, that's the 3 of them in sync at the front. Julian Familiaris, Umpi Swart and Byron Mitchell. The next man they're going to come on to is Andrew Thomas. I saw earlier on Julian Familiaris was already flashing the lights for him and saying, just be aware, there's a Durant Motorsport 3-car train that's on its way through here. But we don't have the likes of Look Easy in there as well. He'd be able to do battle with them. Let's go a little bit further back behind the Durant Motorsport boys. Willem Botha, lovely ride, Willem, so far.
Yeah, Willem Botha having an awesome one. But Gary, look at that fight for Sandro Bakari's 8th position. There's 3 guys all over the back of Sandro Bakari. That's Louis Nortje, Willem Pinaar and Stephen McCarthy. And they are crawling all over the back there of Sandro Bakari, that is currently there in that 8th position. There is Nortje. There is Stephen McCarthy. Stephen McCarthy and Willem Pinaar are side by side, and Pinaar's got him. Willem Pinaar puts the Castrol Audi just ahead there of the Stephen McCarthy Hyundai.
See Nathan Victor having had a problem early on. He's starting to work his way further up the field as well. Nathan Victor got himself right in there behind Captain Peter van der Spey. And you can see that that Hyundai with a big in the front grille, that is the captain himself. And then Jason Coetzee that had that problem early on. He's the next one further behind that. Let's go back to the front end of the field. There's nothing much in it. Keep an eye out for those 3 cars. They look exactly the same. The one's got green mirrors and trim. The other one has got red and trim. And then, yeah, it looks like Yuri and Byron have in fact got the same trim on their cars. So that's the 3 of them. And then if we go just a little bit further back from there, flashing the light, saying to his teammate, let's get it going, Kazi, because just 4 seconds behind him in the Best Water Technologies car, that is Willem Botha. And then just a little further back there's Atti Nagel, that's the Castrol car. And in there behind him is the Boltman. Robbie Teens is right in there as well. Oh, he took that curbstone very nicely. And Robbie Teens closing up on the back of Atinachel.
It's a lovely fight going into that right-hander as they work their way through. That is a fight to try and get Nachel's position away from him. Teens is in there. Steenkamp, Sander Bakari. The whole lot is in there as we ride aboard with Robbie Teens. Robbie Teens is 4/10 of a second in there behind Atinachel. Nachel is having a lovely run there, but here comes Robbie Teens. His last and best lap was a 1:18.1924. Robbie Teens has gone up 3 positions so far. Has Robbie Teens as he's crowding the back end there of the Atinachel Audi.
Let's have a look at some of the replays. Nati and Samangi, he has had an off circuit somewhere. Let's see exactly what happened. Yeah, all 4 wheels were right off the track. Andrew Thomas under pressure. I think it was with the passing of the leaders that he got himself, very, very high, wide and handsome. Everybody seems to be climbing over the curbstones there. Well, even Umpi Swart has had the off tracks as well. And that's also, once again, everybody climbing over that curbstone and using all of the track they can possibly find. Jason Kutsia has had yet another off circuit. So the Ironman's not having much fun whatsoever there. He also goes over there. So a lot of the off tracks, the points they're going to score against themselves is for the off track over there. Everybody seems to have decided that that's where there's extra time to be
That's
had.
a very popular spot I've noticed for the guys busy going off.
Keep in mind, frankly, we're doing 2 15-minute races. That means there's only 3.5 minutes to go. So let's go back to the front end of the field and let's go through them. Leading out with Umpi Swart.
Oh, look at Durant Motorsport. They're side by side. Familiaris and Umpi Swart. They are side by side, the two of them, as they're going to go into that 90-degree right-hander. Familiaris had the lead briefly there, and it's Yuri Umpi Swart that takes the lead back. The two of them are side by side. There's nothing between them as they work their way through that Esses. That right, left, the Esses. And then they go right again. Then they nail it. And here comes Byron Mitchell. Durant Motorsport boys are having a hell of a go with each other. They are 2 abreast. They are 3 abreast. Down that long straight. Into the inner loop they go. Into that bus stop chicane that's known as the inner loop. They're bouncing all over the curves. And the Durant Motorsport boys now working their way through the outer loop. They'll just go round and round like a carousel, and then they'll go down that longy straight. Oh, the guys are using the track and more there as they busy work their way through. Willem Botha is not too far behind them. There you see Willem Botha in that pink car just in there as they work their way through. And now they work into that final corner to start another lap.
Nothing but nothing in it. Judith Familiaris, Byron Mitchell, Umpi Swart. But now remember, they are teammates as such. So they're going to be very careful not to take one another out. The next man in behind them is that man that is Willem Botha. So Willem Botha, he's just got one car between himself and the people he wants to get to. That's Andrew Thomas. But we are 13 minutes 20 into it. If he can get past Andrew Thomas, he can get onto the guys in front of him. He's got a 7-second gap back to that man, Robbie Teens. Robbie Steens is just 2.7 there ahead of Andre Steenkamp. And Andre Steenkamp's got Sandra Bakari right in there behind him. There's Sandra Bakari. And then the next one in the Castro car, that is Willem Pina. Just behind him and right on his back bumper, almost rubbing the back bumper there, is a Louis Nokia. And it looks like he's got the drive. I think he might even make the pass up the straight.
Yeah, watch out for Stephen McCarthy. He's part of that fight as well. It is Pinar. It's the two Castrol boys that are side by side. And Nokia, has he gone through on Pinar? No, he hasn't. Willem Pinar still got that position as we go back there to the man in P4, namely Willem Botha. He needs to clear that back marker.
He's already done it.
Has he gone through? Yes, he has gone through. He has gone through. He has cleared Thomas. So he's gone up and he's still in 4th place, but he's now right on the case of Mitchell, Familiaris and Swart with the 14 minutes and 25 seconds done. We have got 30 seconds left before we see the checkered flag.
Well, there you see the 3 cars together, and then the Best Water Technologies, the pink one just behind that. That's a turn 1 that they've just gone through. Now they will take that right-hander, and we saw the in-car footage as they climb up the hill. That's up the hill, then that slide left, and then the right-hander, and then that's a flat foot all the way down to where there's that pink. And it's game on for the front two at this stage of the fight. It's Julian from the RS and Byron Mitchell that are going to go one-on-one. Remember, this is probably the last lap. The 15 minutes is up. So when they come across the start-finish line, it's going to be the end of the race. Just 4 more corners to go.
Oh, I tell you what, these boys are rubbing each other up, and if they're not careful, they're going to be pipped here by the Hyundai of Willem Botha as they use that track and a lot more as they make their way down that long straight, heading towards the second last corner. Into that second last corner, then it's a little squirt downhill and then into the final corner before they see the checkered flag. The checkered flag will come out and it's going to be Byron Mitchell. It is Byron Mitchell from Yuri Swart and Julian Familiaris in third, and right on the heels in fourth position is Willem Botha.
Robbie Teens, the next man that's going to be coming through. There's Robbie Teens comes across the line. It's Andre Steenkamp is the next man through. Then it's Sandro Bakari. Then it's Louis Nokia. There, Louis Nokia comes through. He's the next man coming across the line. Then a 7-second gap from there on back. And that's going to be Willem Pienaar is going to be the next man that comes through. There's Willem Pienaar. Then we've got Etienne Swart. Steve McCarthy right in there behind him. And then 1.5 corners further back is Neil Harrison. And he's going to be the second last man out on circuit. Oh, Nadi Zamangi is now already crossed. And that will be Neil Harrison that comes across there. So, wow, that was really something else. And that's the first race for the day. I was hoping that a results board was going to come up for us. In fact, it didn't come up. And, well, it popped up, but it disappeared again. So, unfortunately, the way that it was set up didn't hold on to that one. We've now got a 3-minute warm-up before we go into the second 15-minute sprint race. So the whole idea behind this was we've got these half-hour races and 3/4-hour races, and we've got the 90 minutes races, and we've got the 6 hours, but Jaco Steyn decided, let's go for something more point and press and get into some serious one-on-one side-by-side stuff. And that is where this idea came from. So for those of you that have joined us late, this is the iRacing Touring Car Challenge. And we're coming to you from Watkins, Glen. That is the shape of the circuit that we've got out there. We've got a 3-minute warm-up session. In fact, just about nobody. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 that's gone out just to do 1 or 2 corners and get a bit of temperature into the tires. And as soon as that 3 minutes is up, we will then be going racing with the second race of also 15 minutes. So how does the format go? The top 10 is inverted. So, Frankie, that means 8, 9, and 10?
Is Durant Motorsport,
Durant Motorsport. Just in front of them, Willem Botha.
Yeah. And that is 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes.
Yeah. So there's going to be a good couple of guys that's now going to drop in front of the top 3. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that one because, now you've got 4 guys that know they are all very much on the same pace. Any one of them could have won that one, but now they've got to come from the tail end of the field. Doing from the RS, Byron Mitchell, Umpi Swart, they've got 7 cars in front of them. Now, the likes of Jason Kutsia that had a good position for heat number 1, but lost out, now finds himself a whole lot further up the pecking order and in front of the Durant Motorsport boys. Sorry to refer to Durant Motorsport all the time, but they are the 3 quickest out there and got the best result. So that now, do they work once again in Team Unison? I tend to think so.
I think they will. I just feel very sorry for Jason Kutsia because it could have been a Durant 1, 2, 3, and 4 if he never tangled with one of the pink cars out there, which got himself in a whole world of hurt and dropped him down to 18th position at one stage of the game. Now, I don't think that he ended in the top 10. So if inverting the top 10 and he didn't end in the top 10, then he would still be behind that top 10 invert. But we will see the moment they work their way out onto the circuit and take up their positions on the grid for race 2.
I can't wait to see what that grid's actually going to look like. The seconds are ticking away, And look, here we go. I think we just about, well, there's a results board that came up and disappeared on us. And now there's a grid board that has popped up. So Etienne Swart and Filipina. What a move this is going to be. They are on the front row of the grid. Then it's Louis Nokia, Sandro Bakari, Andre Steenkamp, Robbie Teams, Willem Botha, and then shooting from the RS, Umpi Swart and Byron Mitchell.
Yeah, and then McCarthy, Harrison, Verrier, Thomas, Van der Spey, Victor. Yes, Jason Kutsia will start behind that inverted 10. He'll have Jaco Steyn there on his outside, followed by Stephen Duplessis, Nathim Samanga, Atti Nagel, and Herman Lazarus. And let's hope that he can get into it this time, because quite a few of them had connectivity issues to get onto the grid in race 1.
So that's the front end of the grid. Etienne Swart and Willem Pina. Well, Frankie,
this is a remedy for a major accident.
Yes,
I think.
no, this is definitely the recipe for the real deal stuff. Off the line they come, Etienne Swart, Willem Pina. They know the big hitters are going to be coming in the not too distant future. They're going to have to hoof it up as quick as they can and try and get a bit of a gap.
They're going to have to just keep it nice here. They know that the hot shots are coming through from the back. They're just going to have, already there's problems, there's drama for somebody at the back of the grid. Thank goodness it's only one car. It could have been a serious pile-up like we had in the opening heat. So where are the Durant boys? Here they come. Here comes, look at that. They are sitting in P7 and 8 already. Is Yuri Swart and Byron Mitchell. So they are busy carving. The Family Harris has gone up to 3rd position. Wow, what a start there by Julian. And remember, they were all at the back of the field, and somebody gets sent back in there going into that chicane.
Oh, that was pretty hectic. So Willem Pina has already got himself up into a very decent position. Julian Familiares, unbelievable, already got himself right up into that 2nd position. So that's the first of the Durant Motorsport cars that has come through pretty strongly. A little bit further back is Umpi Swart. There's Umpi Swart. He's already got himself past Willem Botha. Byron Mitchell gets himself now past Willem Botha as well. Jason Kutsia in 8th, Andre Steenkamp in 9th, Louis Nokia down to 10th position. But having his moment of glory, Sandro Bakari.
Sandro Bakari is going to have to pedal like he's never pedaled before, because he's got that IDR Familiaris right on his back bumper. Then we've got Willem Pina that's coming through there. And Willem Pina's got Robbie Teens. They are side by side, and here comes Yuri Umpi Swart. And right there with him is his teammate Byron Mitchell and Jason Kutsia as well. So the Iron Man, Jason Kutsia, saying, come on, Yuri, come on, Byron, let's go. We're going to go pick up Julian and make it the Durant Motorsport 1, 2, 3, and 4. The young guns are busy carving their way through this field like a hot knife through butter.
Oh, Robbie Teams backed
is
off
gone.
early. He backed off early, Frankie. He could see it coming, and unfortunately, that didn't work for him. Willem Pina then also involved in that one. So it's one of those things. It was always going to happen. We knew it was going to be tight stuff. So it is Sandro Bakari that still leads out. It's just Sandro Bakari that is leading out at this stage of the fight. Look at that. He's held them off for a lap and just a little. He uses the track, the curbstones, and a bit more. But it's a matter of time. Probably going to come with the cutback. There he does. And, well, I think Julian Familiares, having worked his way that far up, is probably going to pull the move. Yes, he does. Sandro Bakari, well, he did very well. It took 3 laps before they could get to him and anybody to get past him as such.
Well, the Durant boys are right there. They're sitting 1st, 3rd, and 4th at this point in time. And poor Bakari will know here comes trouble. He sees Durant Motorsport ahead of him. He sees Durant Motorsport behind him, as he is literally trying to fight his way through. There's Atti Nagel in P8. He's all over the back of Willem Botha. And that is the fight for Willem Botha's position between Nagel, Norkeer, and McCarthy. And they're going 1-on-1. And here comes Atti Nagel. Atti Nagel sitting on the side next to Willem Botha and backs out of it. And Botha hangs on to that 6th position.
I don't think there was a way to get through there. That's as tight as it gets. You go any tighter than that, you're going to be touching the grass and working your way off the track. Sandro Bakari is back at the front end of the field. And you know what? Look at this. What's the chances? Julian Familiares worked his way to the front blindingly quickly. and then it all went wrong.
Ooh, that's a horrible one for Julian. He stops it just before that wall, lights up those tires of that Audi. Now that's going to cost him big time because he's dropped all the way down the leaderboard to that 14th position.
Driver of the day will at this stage be Sander McCorry. Here comes
So
into the
far,
run, boys.
yes.
Close the left-hand side. One comes up the right-hand side. Next one comes in behind, gives a little nudge
They
on
pushed
the
him
bumper.
out the way.
To get out of the way, Sonny. There's only two of us, but you think you can bully us? Ain't going to work that way. Sander McCorry fights back. Sander McCorry fights back, and unfortunately, he has to yield there at that stage of the fight. Now, Sander McCorry, okay, so he's dropped down two. Two from the RS got past, fell off, but behind that is Nathan Victor. With Nathan Victor comes the Rockstar car, also having a look up on the inside. That's Andre Steenkamp, and they touch, and both of them is now going to be affected by that, and that opens up the door for the likes of Atinachel, Louis Nokia, Stephen McCarthy, all work their way through there. So that's opened it up, big gap all of a sudden. Stephen McCarthy in there behind Louis Nokia and Atinachel. Willem Botha is right on the back of Nathan Victor. They make contact as well, and that's going to cost him. Willem Botha hammers the wall, spins it right around. Lots of damage to that front bumper. Let's see how long it takes for him to get going. They're also close to one another. He drops right down to 14th position. Can you believe it? That Stephen McCarthy battled just a little bit further forward.
Well, that was a kamikaze move going into that inner loop. It was never ever going to happen. And now we're right aboard with McCarthy. He's got Nortje in there just ahead of him. And just ahead of Nortje is Atinachel. And just ahead of Atinachel, we have got Nathan Victor. So that's that fight for Victor's fourth position. And he's been hassled there by Nachel, Nortje, McCarthy, and Natim Samanga is also in there. He's just 1.9 seconds behind that fight. So it's a lovely rort going on there for that fourth position.
Shooting from the RS up on the inside of the Rockstar car of Andre Steenkamp. Andre Steenkamp realizes this is not the place to be right now. This man is going to come through one way or another. Which way does Julian go? Sitting right in the middle of the track is Mike Berrier. Mike Berrier is not going to make it easy for him whatsoever. He'll probably drift across now to the left-hand side. Mike Berrier will know that he's there, but doesn't give him any unnecessary room whatsoever. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Will be Mike Berrier, will be Julian from the RS. Boom! Out of it, he backs, and that takes Mike Berrier just one position further back, as we can see that Julian from the RS is now trying to work his way onto the back of Willem Pienaar. That's that Castrol car that's just in front of him is Willem Pienaar.
Yeah, and just ahead of Willem Pienaar is Natem Samanga, and here comes Jules. Julian Familiaris is the man on the move there, as he's sitting 0.7 of a second behind Willem Pienaar. Pienaar's 1.3 seconds behind Natem Samanga for that matter. Familiaris is working his way through those Esses, which will take him onto that long back straight. They'll move slightly to the right, and then they nail that long back straight, which takes him to that inner loop, and then from there onto the outer loop. And here comes Julian. Julian up on the inside of Pienaar, and Pienaar offers no resistance. Just before that inner loop bus-stop chicane, it's Familiaris. It moves up into P9.
And let's go back to the front end of the field of Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart up, dusted and disappeared. But Sander McCorry not lost in the distance whatsoever.
No, definitely not. Sandra Bakar is only 1.3 seconds behind the combination of Swart and Mitchell in P1 and 2. But Nathan Victor's coming under serious attack. The two Castrol cars are right in there. It's Nachel and Nortje. They're sitting all over the back end there of Nathan Victor. It is the Castrol motor cars out there. It's the Castrol Audi and the Castrol Hyundai. That is all over the back of the Audi of Nathan Victor. Familiaris in P9 is the quickest man out there with a 1:17.222.
Sure, that's blindingly quick. A slightly bigger gap now between Byron Mitchell and Yuri Umpi Swart, but Julian from the RS is going to come across a train of cars in front of him now, starting off with Nati and Samangi. That's the first car that he's going to get in front of him. Is Nati, then Stephen, then Louis, and then Atinachel. So a whole train of cars that he's gotten to. If he can get past them easily, that's all good and well, but how do you get past all of them?
Well, Gary Familiaris sits there in P9. They all fighting for Nathan Victor's fourth position. He's only 1.1 seconds behind Stephen McCarthy. With 9 minutes done, if Familiaris can call up onto the back end of McCarthy, he can try and get past McCarthy, Nortje, Msamanga, Nagel, and even Nathan Victor. So a fourth position is not impossible so far for Julian Familiaris.
That would make, in my book, Sander Bakari the man of the moment, because he's just about the only one that's been able to take on the might of these three teammates. So he's moving now. Oh, he just about rubs the back bumper there. It is Nati and Samangi. He's right in there with Ati Nagel. There's nothing much in it at this stage of the fight.
Well, Msamanga made the move there on Nortje because the two Castrol cars were one behind each other, and he has now split them. He's put Nortje behind him as he goes after Ati Nagel, and here comes Julian. Here comes Familiaris, and he is now 0.2 of a second behind McCarthy. He was 1.2 seconds behind him at one point in time, so he's closed up a whole second onto the back end there of Stephen McCarthy. Now, Jules is going to have to make a move somewhere. He sits on the outside, he sits back on the inside, and surely he will know that I can maybe still sneak out of fourth position here. Msamanga goes wide. Msamanga goes wide. This could cost him at the end of the day. And Msamanga is right in there. Something must give you. And Nathan Victor is he's lost the position. It is Nagel that's now got his nose ahead there of Victor and Nortje, and they are chopping and changing. Look at Familiaris. He's gone all the way up into fifth position, and something, Gary, I think, has just given there. Yeah, yes, Nortje is in pit lane, so there is definitely a problem out there.
Well, that I think was Ati Nagel that was the first man that was involved with that one. But it's impossible to get to all of that. There's just so much action, but that is exactly why we've gone for this 15-minute races. It's all or nothing. There's nothing in between it. Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart, the two Durand Motorsport teammates, and they are waltzing away at the front end of the field, barring the man directly behind them. Sander Bakari, not been dusted whatsoever. He's got a decent gap there on Nati and Samangi. That's him coming through there now. Is Nati and Samangi, and then Julian Familiaris right in there behind that. He's now just past Stephen McCarthy. There's Stephen McCarthy, and then 3 seconds further back we'll find Dr. Mike Berrier. That'll be him coming into picture there now. That's Mike Berrier, and then Andre Steenkamp is in the Rockstar car. He's in that 8th position. Not that far behind him is Ati Nagel, good drive, and the unknown factor Neil Harrison is in there rounding out the top 10. We've done 11 minutes 54 of this race, and it's not decided yet between Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart. So let's go a little bit further down. Jaco Steyn, the man that put this whole one together, he finds himself 0.7 in there behind Harrison. Then behind that is the Best Water Technologies sponsored car of Willem Botha. Willem Botha is 14 seconds further back off Jaco Steyn, but he's only got 5 seconds on Robbie Teens in the Denso car. Then coming through behind that, trying to recover, is Nathan Victor in the Audi. Let's go back to that battle up front.
Well, with all that issues that happened early on, Nathan Samanga managed to escape all of that. That's why he finds himself there in that fourth position. And this is Jaco Steyn. Is he busy? Whoa, Jaco Steyn! Well, there's issues out there for Jaco Steyn. Makes contact with one of the Castrol cars and finds himself there in the Omco barrier.
Let's just have another look at that one. He tried to go between the two of them. The gap was there, and then he got touched from the right-hand side, and that took him across into the Castrol car. So, rubbing is racing. It's one of those things. Here's the front runners, and Julian Familiaris has got his next victim, and that victim is called Nati and Samangi.
Oh, look how quick he closed up onto the back of Nsamanga. So definitely, I think, a fourth position here for Familiaris. He was all the way down in 14th place, and he's the quickest man out there. A 1:17.049 for Julian as he crowds the back end there of the Nsamanga Adi. He surely's got missile lock on him now. If he's going to make a move, he'll make it just before that inner loop bus stop. And that, that's where they're heading to right now. Familiaris all over the back there of Nsamanga. He's going to have a look on his outside. Nsamanga's got the line covered for the bus stop. But who's got the straight line speed? They side by side towards the bus stop chicane, and Familiaris overtakes him going into that chicane on his outside.
Wow, what a piece of driving. June Familiaris working his way back towards the front end of the field. We've got just under a minute to go, and Sandro Bacardi is 5 seconds now off that lead duo. All right, we've seen June Familiaris, one of the Durant Motorsport guys, losing out and working his way back. Is Byron Mitchell prepared to take the chance and go one-on-one with Umpi Swart and maybe blow a 1-2-4 as opposed to a 1-2-3 in race number 1? It's almost a total blackout. First, second, and third in the first race, and first, second, and fourth in the second race. But Byron Mitchell doesn't rate himself second to Umpi Swart. Umpi Swart doesn't rate himself second to Byron Mitchell. Each in his own right is an out-and-out champion. I personally believe if Byron Mitchell can get there, he's going to have a go. And I think this is going to be the last lap. So probably about 6 corners from now, it's all done.
Yeah, this will be the last lap. They gain down that long straight now towards that inner loop as the time has run out. So this is definitely the flag lap through the inner loop. They go now that bust up chicane. Now they'll go through that outer loop. It'll just keep on turning to their right. Around and around they go. And then they'll pick up that long straight that will take them to the second last corner. Oh, they use the track. And a whole lot more down that straight they go. There, the second last corner is just ahead of them. And Swart is all over the back of Umpi Swart. There's 0.2 of a second between them. I don't think Byron Mitchell's going to have a run at him. I think he's going to settle for that second place. They wanted to run Motorsport 1 and 2. And that's exactly what they're going to get. Umpi Swart comes home in P1. Byron Mitchell will finish in that second position.
Wow, that was awesome stuff. Sandro Bacardi must be the driver of the day. Brilliant stuff. The only one that could go one-on-one with the Durant Motorsport boys. June Familiaris up into fourth. A great drive for him. And then Nati and Samangi just ahead of Stephen McCarthy. Not far behind that, Dr. Mike Berrier. Andre Steenkamp coming out of the last corner. He's not that far off them either. Is Andre Steenkamp and Atti Nagel right on his bumper as well. Then remember, Jaco Steyn had that trying to go through between two cars. That dropped him quite a long way back. He lost 9 seconds on that. But frankly, he finds himself in the top 10.
Yeah, Neil Harrison will cross the line there in that 11th position. And then Willem Botha will finish in 12th. And then the last man on the lead lap will be the Denso Hyundai of Robbie Teens. And he'll finish in 13th.
Sure. That was something else. That's just about everybody that's through there. The only man that is still running is, in fact, Peter van der Spy. And he'll be working his way across the line. Remember, he finds himself quite a long way back, did Peter van der Spy. So once he gets across the line, then that will close that off. And that will give us a results board. If all goes well, let's see if we can pick that up on overall.
That should give us a results board. Yes, as you're saying, Gary, the 2 races combined will determine the podium for first, second, and third, all the way down to last.
All right, there we go. That is the results of this race. So it's Umpi Swart from Byron Mitchell. Sandro Bacardi, my driver of the day. Brilliant stuff. Just ahead there of a great recovery from June Familiaris with Nati and Samangi, a national extreme festival racer coming through there in 5th position.
Well, that was the feature race results. I don't know if they're going to give us a combined first, second, and third. But for the second race, the podium is Durant Motorsport first and second, Swart and Mitchell with Sandro Bacardi in that third position. Driver of the day, Sandro Bacardi, yes, because he took on the might of Durant Motorsport. But Familiaris fought all the way back. And he came all the way down from 14th into 4th for Heat 2, as we see Heat 1's results out there. And that was an all Durant Motorsport podium.
So Byron Mitchell from Umpi Swart from the RS for Heat number 1 with Willem Botha, Robbie Teams, Andre Steenkamp, Sandro Bacardi, Louis Nokia, Willem Pina rounding out the top 10. And then that is the results from Heat number 2. If it will pull it up for us, it looks like it's dropped that into overall already. So yeah, that is the results for that one. It was utterly brilliant, I must say. Watkins Glen, man, it was brilliant. 2 15-minute races. The first time we've tried this kind of scenario. Well done to Jaco Steyn for putting the series together and coming up with a new format. A little bit of tweaking to be done on the results that shows up there at the end. But I think all in all, frankly, utterly brilliant. We knew the first time that we saw this touring car thing, you actually said it to me, hey, this is something that we can't miss out on. We've got to get in on this one. And everything we hoped for, wished for, and more, that's exactly what we've seen here today. A brilliant series. And, well, you look at the name list. The only biggie I don't see out there is Luke Bekisi.
And Johan Fourie.
And the Joubert boys.
And the Joubert boys,
Johan
yes.
Engelbrecht. Oh, there's just so many of these top racers. On behalf of Secondary Productions, Frankie, closing word from your side.
Yeah, I think Gary basically summed it up exactly the way it is. We expected it to be brilliant. It was brilliant, and I got to agree with him. Driver of the day, definitely Sander Bakari, getting a 7th in Heat 1 and a 3rd in Heat 2, and the only driver that could take on the might of Durant Motorsport. So, yep, definitely Sander Bakari, driver of the day.
From us, Gary Fleming, on behalf of Secondary Talk Show, Secondary Productions, thanks very much for joining us. Look forward to the next round. Methinks it'll be 2 weeks from now. But don't forget, on Wednesday night, we'll come to you with the West Province Sports and GT Masters Series. And then we've got the 6 hours starting 2 o'clock on Saturday. From the Secondary Production Studios, thanks to you, one and all, and good night to you, everybody.